Sonic CD was a game of mythical status, as unlike its mainline numbered counterparts, it hasn't been as heavily re-released, with the two most notable being in 2005 with the Sonic Gems collection and in 2011 with the Christian Whitehead remaster. The latter being the biggest re-release, as it came out for mobile, PC, and the modern consoles of that era, with two of those still being reasonably obtainable in current day actually. To help give context as to why this helps to reinforce Sonic CD's mythical and mysterious status, the game Sonic CD itself came out in 1993 for the Sega CD add-on for the Genesis, which in retrospect wasn't that widely successful and as a result not that widely distributed, which also helps to add on to the fact that it was a whole 15 years that this game wasn't re-released and as widely accessible as it is today. Think about how insane that is. Think about if something like Gravity Rush had to wait 15 years to get the game re-released. Yeah, that's a pretty long period of time. And even when it was widely released again, I bet you some people ignored it because the Sonic Mega Collection came out 3 years prior for the exact same consoles that the Gems Collection came out on. And if we're being real here, there's only like 3 good Sonic games in the Gems Collection. So there's literally no reason if you don't know any of the games in there to pick it up. Regardless, Sonic CD for the longest of time held a mythical and rare status in the Sonic community due to not only its rarity, but some of the things that we're going to talk about later in this video. So, what caused this game to fall by the wayside then? Well, it's a combination of factors, but I'm going to start off with the beginning, the development. With Sonic 1 being such a major success and phenomenon worldwide, a sequel was obviously inevitable, but Yuji Naka, being dissatisfied with Sega of Japan's corporate policies, took himself and a few members of the original Sonic team with him to Sonic Team America in order to start development on its sequel. And with the Sega CD add-on coming out, Sega wanted a Sonic game to debut with it obviously. So they assigned Naoto Oshima as the director of this new project, using Sonic 1 as its base code. The project started off as a Sonic 2 port mainly meant to show off the advancements of the CD add-on, but it slowly started to evolve into what we know today as Sonic CD. This was evident in their design philosophy as they decided to sway away from the speed element of Sonic and take a more explorative aspect to the game, as evident as this quote from Oshima. Our ideas were to make the world and setting larger, and to add more replayability, so it would be something you could enjoy playing for a long time. They wanted the game to be different from previous Sonic games and current Sonic games in development at the time, and due to the fact that this wasn't a numbered entry, Sega was absolutely fine with letting them take more risks with things like the gameplay. And on September 23rd, 1993, Sonic CD came out alongside the Sega CD add-on to major acclaim, and success actually, selling 1.5 million copies, being the Sega CD's best-selling game. So with it being that successful, why wasn't it up there with Sonic 1 and 2? Well, this could likely be due to a combination of a few factors. One of them being the fact that in order to play the game itself, you needed the Sega CD add-on, which was going to out your wallet a whole $299 for an add-on that Sega poorly supported during its lifespan. I mean, other than Sonic CD, what other games can come to the top of your head that were specifically for that add-on? Take a guess. Go ahead, don't use Wikipedia. Exactly, nothing. It also doesn't help that Sonic 2 already came out the year before, and that 6 months after CD's release, Sonic 3 was already coming out for the Sega Genesis. You know, not only one of the most hyped up Sonic games of all time, but you also didn't need the Sega CD add-on to play it. You only needed the base Genesis. So you can already see how Sonic CD slowly was slipping into just absolute nothingness as time went on. And as someone who was growing up in the quote-unquote Dreamcast era of Sonic, I didn't even learn about CD's existence until I ended up watching the Sonic OVA on YouTube and learned about the game that way. And I'm pretty certain it was like that for a few other people as well, because it wasn't that well represented aside from the Gems collection. And if you guys remember from the last Sonic video, I was quite the Sonic fan growing up. I mean, hell, I had almost all the classic Sonic games on the DS collection. So I just assumed I had all the classic Sonic games, but I didn't know that there was actually another one out there. In fact, I didn't even get a copy of it until 2020 because I never knew CD was on Steam or iOS. But with that history lesson out of the way, let's ask the question here. The one we're all here to see and answer. Is Sonic CD deserving of its mythical and legendary status? Or is it maybe meant to be forgotten? That's what we're going to find out in this video. So stay tuned for the next section as we go through each and every single level meticulously to find out whether or not Sonic CD truly deserves its mythical status. Booting up the game, we are greeted by one of, if not the best Sonic opening yet. A fully animated cutscene in which we get to see Sonic just spinning around at the speed of sound all across the land, which is animated by Toei, by the way. Yes, that Toei. And the cool part being is that the main reason why all of this is possible is because the fact that it was built off of the Sega CD, which basically means is that unlike the cartridges that the original Genesis was using, they're able to compact more and more into this. Fun fact, that Sega logo you guys know about, that took up over half of the storage space on the original cartridge, so the fact we went from that to this really shows how powerful the CD was capable of. And to make things even better, it makes the game really unique, as before Sonic Mania, this was the only traditional animated intro we ever got in the Sonic game. But we also get to see the beginning of Toei Sonic, with it being one of the Sonic fandom's favorite designs. And it's a fan favorite for a damn good reason. It's a really good and solid design. It basically amps up the aspects of the Japanese design of Sonic, and not only makes him more cuter, but also gives him so much more personality. So much personality alone oozes from this first cutscene. You get to know who Sonic is, you get to know what he's about. It's perfect. This is literally the best way to introduce Sonic to someone. It's glorious, and it's honestly such a well-directed cutscene. I can't get over it. It's so good. But getting towards the end of the cutscene, we get to see Sonic coming upon Robotnik's next evil scheme, which involves tying down an entire freaking planet with a big-ass chain. Like what? The man with 300 plus IQ couldn't come up with a better idea to grab the planet and keep it in place? And the worst part is, he repeats this! He repeats this in Sonic Colors, so he clearly didn't learn his lesson from this game. Dumb nitpicks aside, it's wonderful, not only due to the gorgeous animation as we previously mentioned, but it's also once again thanks to the great music compositions that played during it. This time the music is not composed by Masato Nakamura, and instead is primarily composed by Naofumi Hataya with the assistance of Masafumi Ogata. But that's not all. To add another layer of uniqueness to this game, it has two different soundtracks. Mainly because of the fact that Sega, for whatever reason, got cold feet on the original soundtrack, thinking that it would turn off the American audience because it was too weird. So they ended up assigning Spencer Nielsen, David Young, and Mark Crew, and gave them 2 or so months to compose an entire video game soundtrack, which, holy shit, the fact they pumped out any listenable music during that time is pretty remarkable. And depending on which soundtrack you have activated during this cutscene, you'll hear the iconic Sonic Boom with the US soundtrack. Or you'll end up hearing Toot Toot Sonic Warrior with the Japanese soundtrack.
You can go again. Go fall behind. Say don't be late. Destination heaven. Stay alive. Now you and me. We're going to have fun. Say, blast off. Excalibur. It's about that part.
We'll talk more about the differences in the soundtrack a bit later on, but for now let's hop into the actual gameplay itself. And oh, before I forget, I'll be reviewing the Christian Whitehead re-release of the game, as pretty much at this point in time, it's the definitive edition of the game, and also the one that anyone who watches this review and gets the urge to play will probably play this specific version of the game. So I'm going to review this one just for that. So let's just jump into it. My god, I love the intro to this stage so much, because as soon as you hear those first few notes, and then you hear those nice little cheers, it just gets you so pumped up and so joyous, especially with how the environment itself is designed, and it really gets you in the mood to play the game and explore the level. And the thing is, this is reinforced by the level design, as quickly learn how the levels are designed in CD is very different to how they were designed in Sonic 1. These levels are huge, but not on the traditional Sonic level length. More on, they are huge in the sense that of the places that you can reach and explore with the multiple paths you can take. This is even more reinforced by a mechanic that only shows up in Sonic CD. The handy-dandy time warp signs. They are scattered throughout all the stages, and they can take you to the past, present, and future versions of the stage you are on, depending on which sign you run past. And yes, you heard correctly. There are 3 versions of each stage, which comes with 3 unique soundtracks for each of the timelines in the Japanese version, and 2 in the US. As for the US version of the game, they actually reused the songs from the past versions of the Japanese stage for whatever reason. Once again, they composed the soundtrack in like 2 months, so I don't blame them. And in combination with the level design, it perfectly sets up the atmosphere of the stage and the timeline perfectly. Here, take a listen to the difference between all 3 versions of Palm Tree Panic's different songs from the Japanese soundtrack, while also looking at how the stage itself looks. It matches the tunes of the songs near perfectly, I promise you. It's not like the explorative level design is there for no good reason at all, as there's actually a few things you'll need to destroy in the past in order to get the good version of the area by the end of the final stage. First up is these robot machines. I don't know what they are. I never bothered looking them up. Let me do that right now so we can understand for clarity's sake. Well then. It's a robot transporter. I don't know how or why it looks like that, but you know what? We'll roll with it. By destroying one of these in both Act 1 and 2, it guarantees that you'll get the good version of the final stage. Another thing you can destroy are these Metal Sonic projectors, where we see Metal Sonic stepping on an animal for his off-brand videos for the deep web. Which, by the way, you don't need to destroy these to secure a good future, just to clear that up. You can completely ignore these and just do the generators and you'll be fine. But how you get there is a completely other story, as it really feels like none of the levels except one were really meant for you to travel back in time via the old-fashioned Sonic way of just running through and gaining speed. Rather, it feels more like gimmicks are forced upon you to loop your speed in the level in order to travel back in time, or forward in time after hitting a sign, which brings me to a point that people bring up when talking about their problems with the game, and it lies with just what I talked about. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, the level design is really different compared to Sonic 1, and in all honesty, Sonic 2 as well, as ironically, there aren't enough places to gain speed in the manner that you are accustomed to in a Sonic game. And as I already said, oftentimes the best way to travel back in time is looping yourself on some springs or some gimmick unique to that stage. And the thing that makes this even worse is that you'll have to have the whole entire stage memorized, because otherwise then, you're not getting through by speed. You're getting through by using the gimmicks, which is a coin toss in terms of whether or not you like that. This issue is also more prevalent for multiple other reasons. In my opinion, the biggest of those lie with these three specifically. Number 1, the lack of a map. I know they weren't completely common at the time as they are now, but having a map of each stage that slowly fills out as you go through it would definitely help in finding your way around and stopping the second issue, which is the goalpost sign. No, not the one Sonic spins to complete the level, the one before that, as that's pretty much exclusive once again to this game. Because if you see that goal sign, you better hope you can react fast enough to stop yourself from passing it, because otherwise you are going to be unable to go backwards into the stage and handle any unfinished business you have. So if, for example, you were stuck in the future and were looking for a sign to take you back, and if you pass that sign, then congratulations, you have to start the level all over again and lose any progress that you made throughout that time. And the final nail in the coffin is, well, the fact that whenever you travel to a different time, the stage layout changes as well, meaning if you memorize how one time period is and you travel to another, you're going to have to figure out an entirely different layout to the stage you were just in. And it can be really annoying, especially when trying to do things like finding teleporters or finding spots to build up speeds to travel. It gets really on your nerves eventually, especially to those who are frustrated looking for these generators. Yes, you'll likely eventually come upon them, but at what cost? You literally just spent the past 10 minutes looking for this one generator, and now you gotta run to the stage so that way you can hopefully reach the end goal in time. Now, I should also mention that if you just want to speed through these stages and you care very little about the objectives in them, you can do that and you'll still come away from this with a unique Sonic experience, as there's lots of the game that's unique to it and separates it from other Sonic games. For example, the Super Peel Out, which, like many other things in this game, was exclusive to Sonic CD until Sonic Mania. And it's a really fun and unique skill, as unlike its compatriot, the Spin Dash, it actually trades that safety that the Spin Dash gives you for speed, and I mean some serious speed, and it even gives Sonic his iconic Figure 8 run. And in all honesty, I love this mechanic 100 times better than the Spin Dash, as it feels so much more satisfying to get off. But anyway, I'm losing track here, let's get back to the point. It almost feels like the creators wanted to make a weird kind of early Metrovania styled game with a Sonic twist without really fully understanding what made those games work. Which, in all fairness, no one at that point in time really understood the genre yet, as it was just getting its footing at the time of development, and games really wouldn't have cemented signature ideas of the genre like Symphony of the Night because they didn't exist yet. Regardless of complaints, I really dig what they tried to go for here, and while yes, it can be annoying, it's not like it's the only way to get the good ending, which is something we will actually touch upon much later in the video. Anyway, getting back to the stage itself, let me talk about the art design for this game, because oh my god, it is amazing and really is different from other Sonic games. It's kind of hard to describe, but it kind of feels like the color saturation was done in a way in this game that certain colors really pop off, giving the stages a really unique identity to them. For example, Collision Chaos's main color scheme is purple, and Tidal Tempest's is light blue, turning into a nice turquoise color when underwater. But for Palm Tree Panic, it's not only the colors between the green and the tan they chose for the ground and the trees. Well, like I just said, it's in the name. The palm trees. For me personally, the palm trees are always what made the stage unique, as they're always present in all forms of the stage and create a really nice and feeling background, I guess is the best way to put it for my opinion. it really makes the stage stand out in all variants that it's in, as the palm trees are always present in each and every single version of it. Even in the bad future, the palm trees are still there. Much less they're probably dead, as they're clearly mechanized here, but they're still there, and that's what really matters, because the palm trees are so distinctive for the stage that you can tell what version of the stage you're in just by looking at them. And to me, that speaks loads towards the art direction that this game already has, and we're in the first stage, take note. It is really amazing, and all that combined with the colors, the music, this spectacle is amazing, and it's what makes it one of my favorite classic Sonic opening stages, which, funny enough, also has the worst boss battle in the series. I'm not kidding. Speaking of the boss fight, it's actually really vital that I mention this, that unlike Sonic 1, the entirety of Stage 3 in Sonic CD is actually the boss area, which in all honesty is pretty cool, as it allows for some really unique bosses to occur within the game. Which brings me back to the music, as it's here why I want to highlight why I feel like the argument of which soundtrack is better is kind of mute. And the reason why is that rather than arguing which one is better, that the US one is better over the Japanese one or the Japanese one is better over the US one, I feel like rather we should try to reach a harmony between the two, because this is really most evident between the boss fights in the game. While in the Japanese soundtrack, you'll hear this boss theme, it sounds really happy and nice, right? But if you go to the US soundtrack, on the other hand, it sounds like this. They are on completely different wavelengths, and I feel though if you rearrange them, then you would get a really great harmony. Now hear me out on this. For example, if you were to get the good future of a stage, then you would get the Japanese version, as a way of saying, hey, you prevented a bad future from coming, congratulations, all you have to do is beat Robotnik and this good future is assured. Meanwhile, if you were to get the bad future, the US version plays and in a sense scolds and scares the player for not stopping Robotnik and creating a better future, essentially guilting them into regretting not going for the additional objective. This one simple adjustment alone makes the game feel more dynamic and forms more unique experiences as people play the game. While I'm actually at it as well, my preferred song for this stage is the Japanese version, as it just feels more energy filled and really gives you a sense of adventure, while the US version kind of sounds more like a meme song. It's also here I feel like I should talk about the different endings to this stage, because there's actually also even a difference in the ending jingle. While the Japanese one sounds kind of like a nice little celebration theme, the US one sounds like this. It sounds exactly like a goddamn football intro. Like, I'm expecting to see this at the next year's Super Bowl after Sicko Mode is done playing. It's like, I don't know what this is. It goes on for too long, and the Japanese one's just better. Ignore the US victory theme, the Japanese one's better. Overall, the first impressions that Palm Tree Panic gives off are one of a fun and great adventure that just really gets you hooked into the game. And I couldn't think of a stronger start for CD. I mean, the intro alone, where you get to see Sonic in 3D, is just so amazing. Even though it only occurs for that one instance in the stage, it really just gives off a strong and impressionable vibe to the player that they are in for not only just an ordinary Sonic adventure, but a truly great and unique one. However, let's see if we can keep up the pace that Palm Tree Panic set out in the next stage, Collision Chaos. So, I'll see you there. Collision Chaos to me is probably the most colorful stage in the game, and the most eye-grabbing one as well is something I should mention, because this stage assaults your eyes with as many neon glowing signs as possible, which at times makes the stage hard to look at, especially with, like I said, the neon purple. It is absolutely everywhere in the present version of the stage, and it just kind of hurts my eyes. And not to mention, it's also a pinball stage, which, if you recall, is also my least favorite type of stage in the Sonic series. So I won't lie, I might be a bit biased against the stage for this portion of the review, so you can go ahead and skip it, but if you do still want to hear my honest opinion, I am still going to give the stage credit for a few things. For example, right off the bat, starting off the stage establishes the side story in Sonic CD, which is the rescue of Rosie the Rascal, aka Amy Rose. Yes, that is what she used to look like. Yes, they did redesign her majorly compared to other characters, and yes, both the designs are pretty cool. I actually really like both of them. If they stuck with the classic one, I wouldn't have minded. Getting back to the point, this is actually Amy's debut game in the Sonic series. This is the first time she's ever popped up into a game. And I actually neglected mentioning that she showed up in Palm Tree Panic for like a split second, because this is our first real encounter with her. We see her, and we also get to see our first encounter with Metal Sonic, as he too makes his debut appearance, as he kidnaps Amy and flies away with her at the beginning of the level. This actually leads into another point I wanted to bring up about Sonic CD, and that's its major influence on Sonic media. I mean, think about it, we already introduced two big characters who would later become mainstays in the franchise. Not only that, but we've also established the very same foundation and dynamics that have stuck with these characters since this game. Even when you consider things like the Sonic OVA, which is one of the most beloved pieces of Sonic media, it also uses elements from CD. Even the music style in the Japanese version of the game was so loved that for Sonic Mania, they took heavy inspiration from both soundtracks of CD to help create such a grand and unique music for that type of game. That's why it sounds so similar to the Sonic CD soundtrack. I mean, take a listen to these two songs and you cannot tell me that they do not take inspiration from Sonic CD. It is actually incredible how much this game has influenced what we know and love about Sonic with things like that. And it really shows how far this game goes in terms of how important it is overall to the Sonic franchise in general. It's really important because you have all these major influences of things we love that come directly from this game. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Getting back to the actual stage, like I mentioned, it's basically another pinball casino type stage with all these flickers and launching yourself around the stage, and a shit ton of springs as well. I'd pretty much say it's like Spring Yard Zone met Casino Night Zone, and their child came out looking a wee bit funky. Like, the child isn't flat out disadvantaged, but at the same time, it's not like you're gonna be earning a Nobel Peace Prize. It's really weird for me because stage 1 is really fine. There's nothing that good or that bad about it. It's just there. But oh my fucking god, I hate stage 2 of Collision Chaos, because good luck finding the pass sign, much less a way to activate it, because there are so many damn future signs. and there's only like 1 or 2 pass signs that you can find, which is damn annoying because in this game, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but the future signs were clearly meant to punish players for going too fast, too carelessly. But it makes no sense in this stage since it's annoying to rush through it anyway. Since you're already bouncing up and down everywhere and anywhere, you're just going to likely miss the signs anyway. And this issue is made all the much worse when you realize that if you miss the pass sign, you're fucked because good luck finding another one in this bouncy hellhole. To make things even worse for me, the pinball mechanics of the stage just feel so annoying, primarily because they are used for traversing the stage, which can be at times frustrating, at other times unresponsive, and I'm not kidding. I had to restart this game 3 times just to find the teleporter because I didn't want to look it up on YouTube, because if I haven't told you guys already, I like to go into these games blind as if it was my first time playing it, and it was just such a bitch that I even cut it out of my hunt for it during my initial playthrough of the game on this channel. Traversing through Act 2 is in general annoying, and I always load this stage as a result. And like I said already, I don't like the general aesthetic of the stage, so in general, that's already 2 out of the 3 evaluations for the stage that I don't like. But what about that third one? The music. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Spring Yard Zone, I really felt like the music redeemed that stage for me. So how does the music go with this stage? The music's just meh. Yeah, in all honesty, the soundtrack here is... it's meh, it's just there. I do have to say the US soundtrack, in my opinion, is probably the best for this stage, as personally I can't stand the Japanese present and bad future themes. They are just annoying. And the other parts of the Japanese OST for the stage are pretty great, actually, in my opinion. My main issue with the music in this stage is that it just doesn't have the oomph that redeemed Spring Yard Zone for me. It's not like the songs were necessarily bad, it's just they didn't give me the energy that Spring Yard Zone gave me that I needed to push through that stage. And it just sucks. It really just sucks because even the boss on this stage is ass, because it's just you playing pinball until you can get to the top, and once again, I hate pinball mechanics in classic Sonic games, so you can safely say that I did not enjoy that boss fight at all, especially considering one time I actually got stuck for 15 minutes or something like that. I just got stuck for a enormous amount of time that I probably shouldn't have gotten stuck on, but because I just don't like the pinball controls, I did get stuck on it. And once again, I want to reiterate, it's probably my bias speaking. This is probably just a decent stage, but in my opinion, there is very, very little redemption for this stage for me, and as a result, I do have to mark this down as one of my least favorite stages in a classic Sonic game of all time. It already knocked out the visuals, the gameplay was already bad for me in my opinion, and the music didn't even redeem it, and like I said, the boss fight was just ass. There was literally nothing unique about this boss fight that Sonic 2 didn't do better already. And yeah, it just sucks so much because Palm Tree Panic gives you such a good first impression, only for this stage to kind of just tank it down. So here's hoping that the next stage isn't as disappointing. So, Tidal Tempest is probably my 3rd favorite stage in the game, but at the same time, it also has its faults. So, let's go ahead and unbox it. Why is it my 3rd favorite stage? To really start unboxing why I love this stage so much, I gotta start off with the brilliant color schemes, from the nice blue and tan of the present version to the nice green emerald hue that exudes all over the past version, and all the way to that brilliant pink color we get from the good future version of the stage. I just absolutely adore the color choice in this stage, even down to the unique shading of the water in this game, as it's not like the light, thin blue we get in the future games, but at the same time, it's not murky like how Sonic 1 had it. Rather, it's a nice, bright azure blue, which mixes really well with the coloring of the rest of the stages, and as a result, even if you're in the water or out of it, the stage just looks so beautiful. And that's not even accounting for how well the US team knocked it out of the park with the soundtrack for the stage, because it is, oh, it's so good! It's easily one of my favorite tracks between the OSTs, and even possibly one of my favorite tracks in the franchise, as it's one of the most memorable tunes that still stick around in my head to this day. Not only is the actual musical track so calming and so vibrant, I guess I could say, but the vocals on top of that just create such a great relaxing atmosphere as you just make it through. And not only that, it highlights the points that I made about Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 1 and what made that music so excellent for that water stage in specific. It translates perfectly to this stage in exactly the same way, as the song is, like I mentioned already, it's relaxing, it gets you in the mood of exploration and taking things slowly, and I think that fits perfectly for this stage, as once again you're underwater, and while not as hard as Labyrinth Zone, you still need to take your time when looking for the air bubbles and all the other shenanigans you need to look for, because guess what? There are machines and signs underneath the water, so you are absolutely going to have to take this slow and take it one step at a time if you're going to make it out of this stage alive. And in all honesty, with a song like this, I honestly could look for these things all day. And I know I already absolutely gushed my feelings out about the colors of the stage, but let me actually mention how the actual aesthetic of the level is just so good. And there's fish! There's actually fish in the good version of the stage. They're just swimming around, and that alone just absolutely nails it in for me as to why the good versions of the stages are worth going for. It's absolutely got to do with the fact of how nice it looks, and rather than the bad future where everything's just pretty much in ruins, you have the good stages where not only do they look absolutely gorgeous, they are a sight to behold, and it's a shame you only get to see them for the boss battle sections, but you get this nice reward of seeing the aesthetic of the stage in complete harmony with itself. It's just wonderful. However, as much as I'm praising the level, it also has extreme shortcomings from the level design, which really sucks, as there's no challenge in this level. In fact, the only challenge comes from the lack of the infamous drowning sound, as the only way to tell if you're drowning is the normal countdown timer you're given, which unfortunately sometimes blends into the stage, giving you less time to react to it. And really, the interesting portions of the stage are only used about once, notably about the time. Things like these pipes or the water shooting out of these statues rarely come into play, which really sucks because I could see the pipes being used in a similar fashion as how they were used in Chemical Plant Zone, as they let you traverse and move around the stage and let you explore more paths. And the thing is, complain about Labyrinth Zone all you want and the challenges it presents, but at least with its layout, the stage took complete advantage of the fact that it's an underwater stage, using the platforms and obstacles to its advantage, and using its water physics to at least give unique platforming and also set a unique identity from the other stages in that game. The unfortunate reality is that this is just a boring water stage. And while yes, the enemy design is great, which by the way, I'm just gonna say this now, the enemy designs in this game are awesome. I really haven't had the chance to show them off, but take a look at these things. They're just so colorful, they're so vibrant, they're so unique. They look like the Sonic 1 sprites, just with improved visual graphics on them, and it's just wonderful. These are some of my favorite Sonic enemy designs of all time, and they just deserve a lot more credit than they're given because they just look absolutely wonderful. Anyway, getting back on track, the unfortunate reality is that the stage is boring. And as much as I will constantly praise the hell out of this stage for its absolute glorious design in terms of its art, I can't say the same in terms of its design of its levels. And it's just really unfortunate because if that were just fixed, this would absolutely be up there in my top 10 classic Sonic stages of all time because I just love everything about this stage so much. And it gets even worse when you consider the boss battle is so cool, because after chasing Robotnik down through a series of tunnels, you reach an underwater cavern where the showdown happens, and he spawns a shield made up of air bubbles. Yeah, air bubbles! Which absolutely not only shatters the player's expectations of how this boss battle is going to go, but also flips how the boss actually works, because normally in an underwater boss battle, you'd think that your main concern would be lack of air and that you would consistently have to get air bubbles to breathe, or else you'll drown. But in reality, in this boss fight, that's not the case. You have more than enough air bubbles from Robotnik to sustain you for the boss fight. Your main concern, rather, is loss of rings. Losing your rings is the #1 way you are going to lose this battle, and if you do, you're ironically not going to die from drowning in a water level. You're going to die because you were careless and didn't take the projectiles coming at you seriously. And to me, that just really not only makes it a memorable boss fight, but it also really gives it a unique design in terms of underwater levels, because I can't recall another time that this was done in a Sonic level. And it's just really unique. Once again, I just want to say this level is just unique in general, but it's just really unfortunate that the level design lets it down so much, as it's a really fun boss fight and a great end to the stage, but only if the stage itself was better designed. I feel that it would be such a memorable stage to the Sonic community. So while the stage will always be memorable to me, I can't say the same for you guys. Speaking of memorable, let's move on to our next stage. Okay, I'm gonna be really blunt with you guys. This is probably one of the most forgettable Sonic stages in the entire franchise's history, because unlike the past few stages where, you know, I played through them twice, once for the good future, the other time just rushing through the stage, after taking a break before writing this section, I came up empty-handed. I completely forgot everything about the stage and had to look up my own gameplay to check out what the stage is. I mean, hell, as I am recording the audio for this, I genuinely cannot picture what the stage looks like in my head at the moment. So, already off on a bad foot in writing this, I went back to look at the footage I had in order to understand why. And the truth is, the stage itself is just so forgettable. I know I sound repetitive there, but it genuinely is. The only memorable thing from it in my head, even now as I am recording this audio, were the crystals. Those are the only thing that stood out to me, and that's just because the basic art and design choices just don't work for the stage. It just genuinely feels like a downgrade, especially when you go to the past version, because, I mean, look at this. This does not mesh well. This does not feel like the same game I was just playing a few seconds ago. Everything just feels like it clashes with itself in the stage. To make things even weirder, the stage's gimmick itself doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, as it's mainly just turning on switches to swap the direction of the tractor belts go. But it doesn't even matter because they don't even affect your speed to the extent that it should matter, which is the worst part. The stage gimmick literally does nothing. The visuals aren't up to par with the last few stages. And what about the music? Everyone loves the music from Sonic CD, so the soundtrack for this level surely is good, right? Well, actually, it's really goddamn good. Both the Japanese and the US soundtracks rock so hard for this stage. The Japanese soundtrack sounds like a more mellowed out version of the Hit the Targets theme from Super Smash Bros. Melee, and the US soundtrack sounds like the theme to a modern Sonic stage. I mean, they're just remarkable. Take a listen to both of them. And with the music being that fantastic, it also kind of helps the boss fight is unique as well, keeping in tune with how out there they really went with the boss battles for this game, because it consists of you running on a treadmill until Robotnik's machine literally grinds itself to his feet, which, ouch, first of all, and ouch, and you have to avoid spikes getting launched at you at the same time. Basically, don't get hit and the boss defeats itself. It's a really easy boss once you figure it out, and it's honestly the only thing I remember from the stage afterwards, because even after beating the game for the channel's playthrough, I still remember that fight because it was really unique in the way it was presented. Granted, I forgot what stage it came from, but hey, it was a memorable boss regardless. In all honesty, this is probably going to end up being the shortest section of the review, and the case for that being is that there's nothing really that memorable about the stage. If you cut the stage out of the game, I don't think anyone would miss it. I genuinely think it is that forgettable. And while yes, once again, this is one man's opinions, for all I know, some of you might be the biggest Quartz Quadrant stands out there, and you love the stage half to death, and you know what? You can do that. But for me, the stage just fails to be memorable on many levels, and if it weren't for the music and boss, I'm sure I would have completely forgotten and skipped over this specific stage, because, once again, nothing sticks out in any significant way, which is really unfortunate. And with that being the case, this stage will forever remain a forgotten memory in my head. Hopefully, the next stage does not meet such a fate as well. Hey guys, welcome to the end of the video. Sorry to cut it short, first of all. This is actually not being scripted at all, because if you guys haven't noticed the time, it is almost 50 minutes, and I recognize the fact that if I were to fully release the video in its entirety, it would be the whole entire length of a feature-length film, which is something I feel like you guys probably aren't going to watch, and it's definitely something the YouTube algorithm is not going to recommend. So what we're going to do here is we're going to split this video up into 2 parts, and this is part 1. Part 2 will probably come out later in the month of March, likely, since majority of the video is done here. So that's going to be really exciting, and to kind of explain why I have been absent for 4 months, because I didn't want to make another update video simply because the channel would just be full of them at this point, because I have taken quite a while with this video, and like I said, for a good reason. The video is quite long. Originally, this video was supposed to have come out in December, as we mentioned in our 3rd update video, I believe, but as it didn't happen because, well, 1 November I got really, it's a combination of really lazy and at the same time really occupied. A lot of things happened in November for me, and I just wasn't able to write the script or record any audio. It was actually in December when the script actually started becoming an actual physical thing. That's when I started doing the first drafts and the rewriting and all that. And January, kind of like the end of December to the beginning of January was when the recording started to happen, but once again, due to things outside of my reach, I was unable to get the audio done in a, how do I say this, in a, not a convenient time, but in a timely manner. That's what I want to say. I wasn't able to get them done in a timely manner, so it ended up pushing it back to mid-January. Mid-January was around the time when the audio finally was finished for this video. And then after that, that's when the editing began, and the thing is, like I said, this is 50 minutes nearly of stuff that I had to not only edit, but also get the footage for, and let's just say that was a major undertaking, especially with the fact that the intro alone was exhausting to do, simply because the intro just took so much longer than I thought it was, and recently I started up college again, so that on top of, once again, video editing and personal life and all of that pretty much combined into me releasing this video literally last minute in February. and it's definitely something I did not want to do. In fact, at this point in time, there should have been 3 unique videos besides this one released, but it just took so long for this one to become reality, and I'm proud of it. I'm not happy to say I'm proud of when it came out, but I'm proud of the end result, and I'm really hoping that all the experience from the last 2 videos really gives this one an amp up from the last Sonic video, and really just propels it to be much better. That is what I'm hoping for this one, and I'm really hoping you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Like I said, although the hours are long and grueling, I really do enjoy making this content for you guys, and that's pretty much it. I just want to really make sure you guys enjoy what I put out there, and to kind of give more updates in terms of the future of the channel, because the video is long enough already. I honestly don't care about the length at this point of this long epilogue. Like I said, part 2 is coming out next month. It should be relatively easy to make, considering, like I said, a majority of the video was done in this section specifically, so that's going to like I said, it should come out March. I don't see it coming out any later than that. If so, I either got flooded by school, or I just got really lazy and irresponsible again, in which case I am sorry ahead of time. In terms of future videos for the channel, I probably will say I don't know actually where to take it. That is a big issue in terms of what I want to do, because I have all these ideas. There are so many, so many ideas of what I could do with the channel. The question is which ones I want to do and how I'm going to do them in a timely manner. That is the most important thing to me, because like I said, I love doing the Sonic videos, but my god, the formula I have for them just makes them take so long, especially with the fact that after the Sonic 3 review, I'm actually going to have to get footage for everything separately again, which is going to be annoying, because for the Sonic CD, the Sonic 2, and like I said, the Sonic 3 review, I don't have to really worry that much about footage unless I'm trying to get something specific, but anything beyond that, I'm going to have to do so much recording, so many things for those. So I am basically on a ticking time clock with the Sonic videos, so what my plans for them are is I'm going to branch them out. They're basically going to become a big event on the channel. Whenever I upload a Sonic video is when I'm really putting a lot of love and care into it, and I want to, like I said, they're the heart of the channel, and I consider that very important to me. So that's pretty much what I want to say on that. So they're not going to be released in the way that I want them to. There'll probably be 2 to 3 of them per year, simply because of how long they take to make. And like I said, I want to do other things besides write the Sonic reviews, so that's another thing. And like I said, the ideas I have, I don't know how long they'll take to write, I don't know how long they'll take to edit, but I guarantee you they'll be on the same wavelength as the Persona and the Among Us video. In fact, one of the ideas I have is going to be pretty similar to the Among Us video, and we'll see if that gets made. If not, that'll probably be the Halloween special. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to give you a general update on the channel with this ending piece and where I want to take things. So go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and once again, keep on the lookout for part 2. That's going to be coming soon. That's going to be really exciting. Like I said, I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.